Hey guys, welcome to another video. Thanks for joining me in this one. So I just want to touch on something before we get into the major part of this video. If you've clicked on this video and this video doesn't really apply to you, please understand that every minute you watch this video, it goes a long way, because that's how YouTube actually knows that this video is valuable. Now, because it doesn't really apply to you doesn't mean that it's not valuable. So I appreciate you watching this video, and maybe you'll learn a thing or two. Also, I appreciate you leaving the like. I appreciate you leaving the comments in the comment section below. I appreciate you sharing this video. All of it goes a long way in letting YouTube know. And by the way, this is all the algorithm stuff, which I know that it's kind of beyond what most of you want to hear. But the point is, that is the way YouTube knows that this is a good video that has value in it. So I appreciate you doing your part by watching, by liking, by leaving comments, and by subscribing, by sharing. All those things goes a long way. So let's get into it. Now, one thing I also want to mention is, if you are in, say, Africa or in a different part of the world and this Speedbird program isn't applicable to you, or maybe you applied and you haven't been successful, understand that I have other programs that I'll be talking about, and I will share them when it's timely. I won't talk about these programs when it's not timely, when there's nothing you can do about it. The ones that are open, I've shared them. The programs that are open for application, I've shared them. There's a program that will open up in November. I'll share it as well. But right now, this Speedbird program is quite important and I need to give timely information. So please bear with me. For those of you that have moved on to the video assessment stage, congratulations. I wish you guys the best of luck. Now, in as much as we've gotten to this video application stage, I want you to know that there is a lot of downtime right now, because a lot of people are just getting wrapped up with the assessment stage, wrapped up in the sense that they're just getting the feedback from BA and they're getting to know if they move on or not. For you guys that have either done your video assessment or you're waiting to do it, understand that from here on, this process will begin to ramp up. When I say ramp up, in terms of your learning abilities and your time management. So let me show you something on my screen. On your screen right now, you can see we have the red arrow that shows where we are currently at in the whole assessment stage. The green arrow is the next step. All right. And the next step says the flight school technical test. It says we'll assess your ability to work under pressure and see how you react to increasing workload and various computer-based tests from the CURT suite. Now, if you've done your video assessment, I would say you should start looking into this technical aspect of the flight school. Now, I know there are two flight schools. One is Skyborn, one is FCGRS, and depending on which one you've chosen, they will try to honor it, but there are no guarantees. So how do you best prepare for this? It doesn't matter. Even if you start preparing with FTGRS and you get Skyborn, the point is the assessments will still be similar. It may not be exactly the same, but it will be very similar. To include math, some verbal reasoning, some aptitude testing, some group interview, some one-on-one interview. So the point here is, if you can start preparing for this assessment, it will go a long way, because you don't want to then wait until you're given that 1 week invitation to come for this interview, and then that's when you now want to start reading and start going through all this information. Yes, some of the information will be similar to what you've done in the assessment stage of the one that you just concluded, but understand that there's a lot more to learn, and I want you guys to understand this. There's a lot more to learn. Now, this brings me to learning curve. I took a screenshot of this from dictionary.com, and learning curve is the rate of a person's progress in gaining experience or new skills. There's going to be a lot of new skills and a lot of new experiences that you guys would have to go through in the next couple of weeks to maybe next couple of months. This is what a learning curve look like. A learning curve has the time at the bottom and your performance on the vertical axis. Now, as you can see, there's the curve that goes all along over time, and each phase is broken down into slow learning phase, increase in proficiency over time, the plateau, the peak proficiency, and overlearning. Now, most of you are probably still at the slow learning phase right now, because to be honest, you haven't been really tested other than the assessment stage, which we know that unfortunately there isn't much to tell us how we did, right? We know we passed, but we don't know how well did we do. We don't know that. So I want you guys to start taking the time, especially for those of you that have moved on to this video assessment, or maybe you've concluded and you're just waiting. I know it's hard to study for something that you don't know you're going to actually take or do, but just slowly start learning. It will only help you. Now, as this process moves on, all right, you would realize that your learning curve will begin to ramp up, and I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, around the peak proficiency over time. Now, you have a very limited amount of time for all of this to happen, and that is where I want you guys to start making use of the time that you have right now. All right, now of course overlearning can occur, so you have to be careful, but overlearning is where the stage you want to get to by the time you're concluding this process, where every information you're coming across is something you already know and you're just looking for something new. So understand that it's not that it's bad, it's just that you want to be at that point when you are concluding this whole assessment. By the time you're doing your British Airways assessment, you should be at the overlearning stage. If for any reason you feel like you're still missing information, and you're still maybe somewhere at the plateau or maybe at the beginning of this peak proficiency, that is not a good sign. By the time everyone is getting to this British Airways assessment at the last phase of this at the British Airways assessment at the bottom here, you want to make sure you're at the peak learning stage, or over learning stage actually. So keep that in mind. Now, one of the things that I did, this was on September 4th, this was all before this process even started up. I want you guys to know that a lot of people are already working on this, even before the application opened. I emailed some of these programs out there. All right, I emailed a lot of them, but one of them got back to me, and a lot of them got back to me, by the way. But one of the things that they said, which I took a screenshot of the message, I didn't leave everything here. You can see it says our best preparation option for cadets is a group course. However, all courses are now full in September, so we are taking bookings for October. We have a few other clients booked on the group course on Friday, 6th October, blah, blah, the cost is £399. I'm letting you guys know that people are paying for what you guys are getting for free. I'm telling you this because I have been through this process. I have done it. I've been there, done it, and I am trying to help you guys. Now, I know that unfortunately, I don't have the ability to have a one-on-one with most of you guys, but I want you guys to know that people are already doing the work that needs to be done. Understand that British Airways will not hire someone that they have to go and work on. They want someone that is already ready, that knows exactly what they're getting themselves into. So the point here is, understand that you need to be working if you're not really working hard. And I know that some of you do have, things that you do, a full-time job, all that. I get it. But understand that British Airways is going to be investing a lot of money, and they are not going to waste time. They are not going to want to waste time on anybody or waste money on anybody. So you need to start putting in the work right now. And like I said, I know that there's no guarantees here that you're going to move to the next stage of this whole assessment process. But just keep it in mind that once you have that date or that assessment date scheduled, it's going to become very busy, and you would need to make the sacrifices needed to excel. One of the ones that I found, as you can see, is the one for FTGRS here, and it talks about some of the programs that it would cover, and it talks about the aptitude test that you have to do. You can see it has all these tests that you need to go through. Stage 1, the stage 2 of the reasoning test, it has stage 3, stage 4, and it goes on. Actually, I didn't put all the screenshots here, but the point here is start working, start preparing. Understand that from here on, the process is going to go into a very steep learning curve for a lot of you guys. You have to learn a lot about yourself and about this whole process, or this whole assessment, and how best you can achieve success. So I wish you guys the best of luck. I want you guys to know that I'm rooting for all of you guys. Honestly, I want you guys to succeed. but understand that it's a competitive process, and definitely they want the best out of the best. So please do your best, do your part. Understand that it's going to be a very steep curve, and I keep saying that from here on. Once you get through this video assessment and they move to the next phase, it's going to be a very steep learning curve. So best of luck to you guys. I'll see you in the next one.